Hello everyone, it's me Clayson. I just finished watching the latest episode of Young Justice. Now, for the 5th episode of Phantoms, we seem to have moved on from the Martian wedding of Superboy and Miss Martian, and we're moving on to Artemis's story, well, a tale of Artemis and Cheshire. And considering that Artemis was one of my favorite characters in the original 2 seasons of Young Justice, I'm glad that we got to spend more time with her, especially dealing with the aftermath of the supposed death of Connor, aka Superboy. I still don't believe for a second that he's actually dead, but we'll see how it goes. Anyways, as Artemis is dealing with the aftermath of that, she finds that crime fighting and her job as a teacher is some of the only ways that she can cope with another one of her teammates dying in the line of duty. While Cheshire also goes to the League of Shadows to basically confront her sensei, and when it seems that a defector from the League of Shadows, Onyx Adams, has been following Miss Artemis for quite a while, to the point where Arsenal and Arrowette have to confront her and take her down. But it seems that Onyx Adams is actually trying to warn them about Cassandra Savage, who, despite being seen as a fiercely loyal follower of Vandal Savage throughout Season 3, it seems that she has actually defected herself, and it seems that she actually wants to go against Vandal Savage. But both women seem to think that the other's lying, and even the Young Justice members are kind of split on who's lying and who's telling the truth, especially since the League of Shadows seem to be targeting both of them. Well, more specifically, the League of Shadows target Cassandra before a fierce battle takes place, and Onyx thinks that they deliberately attacked Cassandra to make her story seem like the true one, but she still believes that she's lying. So yeah, it's basically a big mystery as to who's lying and who's telling the truth in this scenario, and considering that one of the parties involved is the daughter of the series' main antagonist, this is a big deal, especially considering that there are a lot of perspectives throughout the team members as to who's lying and who's telling the truth. I mean, Red Arrow thinks that the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. He might think that they're moles or that they're not moles, which is kind of funny considering that Red Arrow was a mole, and that Arsenal is his clone and all. And there's also some fun callbacks to one of my favorite episodes of Season 3 with the whole Bowhunter security team. On top of that, for a season that wasn't exactly filled with action up until this point, the action scenes in this episode were a lot of fun. Not really the still images that we saw at the beginning, but definitely the big fight between our heroes and the League of Shadows. You can tell Studio Mir covered this one because it looks gorgeous, there's tons of great brutal shots. Heck, Red Arrow even gets, aka Roy Harper, gets to even fight with a clipboard and a pen, and it's awesome. I am realizing more and more that this series is actually benefiting from being on streaming services, considering it's allowed to get away things that it wouldn't be able to if it was its normal Cartoon Network run. Especially with some of the blood that's seen in the fight with the League of Shadows, and the fact that Cassandra actually only has one arm in this episode. Onyx says that she lost her arm while trying to recruit Killer Croc. That could be the case, but the fact that they show her with one arm at all does raise even more questions about whether or not she's telling the truth. Plus, I always liked the exploration of the relationship between Cheshire and Artemis, especially since they're two sisters on opposite ends of morality, but both of them are sympathetic in some ways, especially since they have to deal with an abusive asshole that is Sportsmaster. So yeah, I really like this one. I think it's one of the more enjoyable episodes of the season, and I'm glad that the animation quality remains high here, and that Artemis got her time to shine. But what's going to happen next week, and who do you think's telling the truth? Do you think Cassandra is or Onyx is? I'd like to know. Anyways, see you next week.